Hello. Yeah, I'm excited tonight because this is my last video for today. Oh, I can't wait to rest, to sleep on my beautiful bed. Alright, welcome back to my last video on topics or ideas to help you with your interview section, and of course to be able to satisfy your recruiter and get a certificate of sponsorship. As many of you that are trying to get your certificate of sponsorship, I'm praying for you that the good Lord is going to help you get it and you will be happy. So thank you very much for coming around, and thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. And to my returning subscribers, thank you from my heart. All you do means so much to me, and I want to say a very, very big and huge, a massive thank you for all you're doing for me, and I'm not going to forget this in a hurry. And for the rest of you, please, can you kindly turn on the notification bell, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Don't forget to share this video with your friends. It means so much to me. Thank you very much, because I know you're very kind and you're not selfish with your taps. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So this evening I will be dishing a palatable meal for you as a healthcare assistant, and the topic is moving and handling. Remember, I said to you that I have my lectures all printed out, and I will be speaking from my experience and my lecture notes. Now, as a healthcare assistant, you're open to numerous opportunities where you get to meet a lot of people. You get to talk to the higher minded people or higher minded parents who have offsprings that are society celebrities. I mean, wonderful people. So it's important that you stay active, healthy, and happy as a healthcare assistant. Either you're residing in the UK or in Nigeria or in Zimbabwe, South Africa, Ghana, anywhere in the world. Yeah. So you have to enjoy your work. You have to gain satisfaction, but it can also bring you pains. I mean, back pains, spinal cord pain, skull pain, depend on how you manage yourself. You could even lose all of your income trying to be healthy. So if you do not work in a way that is safe as a carer, you should be ready to spend all of your income buying drugs, all sort of drugs, and going for all kinds of massage because of the acute pain you might get. Why? Because of your wrong way of moving and handling material. This training will help you understand the law of moving and handling and the safe system to work in an organization. Of course, in every organization, every care organization, there are laws that they have put in place. So it will give you the right system of moving and handling things to avoid injuries, to avoid spinal pains. Yeah, there are laws for that. I know that some of you may not understand this because the way you walk, you don't walk in the right way. So right now, while this lecture is going on, I'm gonna post some of the pictures, the wrong postures that people use when lifting things, carrying things, and moving things. and the right postures. Okay, so from the postures, you know why this policy is important, the moving and handling policy. The manual handling operations regulation in 1992 states that you must avoid moving things the wrong way, have access to the right equipment, reduce the loads and luggages, review how you have worked in a care home. So the key point of this manual handling operation regulation was dished out with an acronym, AARR. So can we say AARR, okay? A, avoid. The second A, access. The R, review. The second R, reduce. So avoid, assess, reduce, and review. Avoid, access, reduce, and review. The manual handling operation regulation 1992 states that every employer shall, so far as is reasonable, so far as is reasonably practiced, avoid the need for his employees to undertake as manual handling operations at work which involves a risk of their being injured. I know you're saying, Bella, can you take that again? I will. I heard you loud and clear. The manual handling operation regulation 1992 states that each employer shall, so far as is reasonably practicable, avoid the need for his employee to undertake as manual handling operations at work which involves a risk of their being injured. So this act or operations regulation, the manual handling operation regulation of 1992 states that every employer, as it is under that law, under the act, not allow the employee to handle, manage, move heavy substances that could injure their health, that could hurt them. Okay, so let me do a quick definition of manual handling. Manual handling is defined as any transporting or supporting of loads, which includes pushing, pulling, putting down, lifting, carrying thereof by hand or by bodily force. Employee, I mean your sponsors, must take care of their own safety by themselves. Forgive me, when I say employee, I'm talking about you, the carer. Employee must take care of their own safety and themselves by using safe systems that work and is put in place. They have to cooperate with the employer who has put all the safe system in place at work. So it is compulsory for you to make use of the safe systems that have been put in place at work so that you get to be out of trouble or injury. There is a legal framework that protects you and the people you care for while you are at work. Manual handling is lifting, putting down, pushing, pulling, carrying, or even moving a load. Hazardous manual handling should be avoided whenever possible. When we talk about hazardous handling, we're talking about handling or lifting loads that could be hazardous to your well-being, to your health, because they're very heavy. These are loads or heavy duty weight objects or heavy duty loads that needs to be lifted with forklifts. So you don't go there posing yourself as a Superman. Yeah, I've got the power. I can lift the house. And when you lift the patient who is your best and it falls on you, and now your spinal cord is cracked, who do you blame? So you need to live longer and healthy to be able to work as a carer, because once you're one off, they will not need your services anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah? Okay. So the key points of the manual handling operation regulation 1999 are: avoid. 1992. The key points. These are the factors you must not forget. Number 1, avoid, access, reduce, and review. Can we say that together? Avoid lifting heavy duties that could hurt you, that are not healthy for you. Access, have access. You should, excuse me, you need to have the right access to these equipment. Is your right to have them to make your work easier. You need to reduce workload. You need to reduce heavy duties so you don't get hurt. And finally, review. You need to review. We have some reports. You need to write them down. What equipment did you use? How did you manage the handling? At what time? You need to pen this information down. When your superior comes around, they do a review. You have legal responsibilities as an employee to cooperate with your employer to work safely. Everyday activity at the care home must evolve around toileting, cooking, cleaning, arranging, scrubbing, moving, okay? Every day, recording, registering, documenting, all of these activities are activities that plays out at the care home. So when lifting, you need to squat and pick up. Do not bend. You need to squat. You go down, pick it up, and then back. Because when you bend, you could hurt your neck, your spinal cord, and your backbone. Okay? Stand. You have to squat. So if you find it difficult to squat, you should start practicing before you're called to back. Just kidding, yeah? Do not bend to pick up things to avoid back pains. Now, what does the law say about moving and handling? Let's see. The Health and Safety at Work Act 1974 gives rights of responsibilities to both you and your employer. Now, let us see the responsibilities your employee, you as a carer, owes the employee. Now, the employer, for the employee rather, employee for the carer. As an employee, you have the right to safe system of work. So you need to be in a care home where you are allowed to operate with the safe system. 2, safe equipment to work with. If your equipment are worn out, you need to talk to your boss. Talk to the doctors, the nurses, the superiors there, because it is your right to have safe equipment to work with. And if you feel, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to implicate them, no problem. When you use the worn out equipment and you destroy things or you hurt a patient and the call 911, you'll be brought to book. So choose, take a peek, tick, 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 tick. Which one are you going for? If I were you, I would prefer to work with safe equipment, okay? Because it's my right. Safe use, handling, and transporting of objects. So you owe your care home that. You have to handle equipment safely, move and transport objects safely. Information and training, you have the right to get informed. You need to get informed. So your employer will get you the right trainings on how to handle this equipment, how to handle the tools, and how to operate around the area, around the care home or hospital. Information and training, then supervision at work. You have the right to have that, right to enjoy that supervision at work. Safe working environment. You have a duty as an employer to follow your employer's moving and handling policy, all right, and the best system of work. Your employer is meant to carry a moving and handling risks assessment of each service user. So before you are absorbed into the system, they should know, your employer should know what best equipment suits what's a particular service user. Okay, so there are equipment that moves patients from the bed to the wheelchair and from the wheelchair to the bed. Now, I'm sure if they have very big or hefty service users, okay, they should get bigger sizes and then smaller sizes for slimmer people, as the case may be. Okay, so you will go through the training. You know which of the service user is best to use which of the equipment. Now, what are the areas covered in the risk assessment? I told you that the employer is meant to carry a moving and handling risk assessment of each service user. Now let's consider the areas that will be covered in the risk assessment. 1, the tasks. What are your tasks? 2, individual capacity of work. What are you meant to do within your shift? Number 3, load. What are the loads you should carry with hand, like the tray, okay, towels, all of those, maybe tray of food, maybe a light basket. Environment and equipment. What kind of environment are you and what kind of equipment are made available? First, your employer must be able to answer the questions about the position you must adopt when doing a handling task. When it involves carrying, stooping, stretching, or even how far and low you have to hold. The next part of your assessment addresses the risks to the carer. Typical questions should be or would be: is special training required for this task? Is this task related to a pregnant woman or someone with joint problem, like lifting someone from the bed to the chair and all that? Is it a task for the pregnant woman, or is it a task for the a service user who has a joint pain or broken bone? Then your employer must assess the type of load you carry, including the service user. Now, can we go to the next subheading? Criteria for assessing inanimate loads. Criteria for assessing inanimate loads. Number 1, we consider the size. Number 2, we consider the shape, the fragility, and the bulk. How bulky, how much is this? What is the size of what we're moving? What is the shape? Okay, and how fragile? Is it breakable? Is it durable? Is it perishable? All of these criteria will be assessed. If a handling task is moving or assisting a service user to move, find out the service user's age. What age? Find out the ability. Does he have the ability to stand? Check for pains. Does he have any pains or fatigue? Check for cognitive and cooperative ability. And communication should also be taken into account because you need to be communicating with the service user. Why did I say that? If the service user is a Spanish or a French and you speak English, that is where an interpreter comes into play. Regarding environment and equipment, your employer must take into account if there is enough space for you to move safely within the environment, or if there are obstacles that might hinder you from moving or having access, to move this equipment you use for your job. Now, your employer should be able to provide you with the right lighting, and then at the presence of steps or slopes for people who you use the wheel to move, stairs for those that can walk. A risk assessment will identify any risks and enable you, the employer, to draw out a care plan for each service user. So your employer has to draw out what we call a care plan for each service user. So you have to follow these guidelines or formats, okay? Good. So this whole system is spelled out and it's easy to access, no big deal. But it becomes a problem if you hate to read. These plans are kept in service users' home. They have to be in the homes of the service user, that's the residence where you work. And also your employer will have copies. They specify how you should move a service user. How are you meant to move the service user from the bed to the wheelchair, downstairs or upstairs? Okay, do we understand? Or to the lobby? And each task involved in a typical visit and possibly emergency visits. So all of this will be exposed to you. You must comply with them. Okay, advising your manager of changes that may affect the safety of this task. If any accident occurs, you or a service user have involving moving or handling. Okay, so this formal assessment is a vital part of the care plan, but before you carry them out, any moving or handling tasks, you should make an informal judgment. So even after they have given you all of this information and you have the plan, you need to also make use of your sense. Your six senses, okay? So make an informal judgment of potential risks involved. If on the plan they say you have to go through the stairs, and on this fateful day, the service user has fatigue and cannot use the stairs, would you say that because of the plan you were given to take the stairs, you must take the stairs? That is where, your wisdom, that is where, you have to impute your informal judgment, okay? So act accordingly. Now, I've been able to spell out to you the obligations on the health and safety law. The next step is to understand the types of physical movement that can cause back injury and avoid them. So there are physical movements that could avoid back injury. First, when you want to pull something from the ground, you do not have to bend over to pull it, because the pressure and the weight of what you're pulling will rest on your spine. So you have to squat like you're trying to poop. You know the way kids poop when we were kids. So you squat, go down, and then you pull whatever you want to pull, okay? Make sure that the force or the energy rests on your legs and not your spinal cord. I'm going to attach pictures to this video so you can go through them and start practicing them now. That's the best way to overcome this. Do not touch service users as you wish. When you're trying to move them, don't touch them. Stop. Make sure your fingers do not play around their body. You have to be very, very mindful of that. Check out for information on all the gadgets equipment, read manuals, okay, check out the straps, check out the clicks, the locks, if they are all functional. If they're not functional, you know you cannot use them, because if you use them, you could expose the service user, you can expose them to risks or even death. So you have to put your mind to what you do. Handle service users carefully, like an egg, okay? Just like you handle me. Okay, strap up the service users while lifting them up using the equipment or machine before moving them. And when you lay them on the bed, make sure that they are balanced, make sure their heads are balanced and their legs, their hands. Ask them if they are okay. Ask. You have to carry them along at every point. You have to communicate with them. And like I said earlier, if you cannot communicate in the language, you would need an interpreter. And that is the duty of your employer, to get you an interpreter. Also then, if they are okay, you need to find out. Ask them if they are okay. Sterilize equipment always if it needs to be sterilized. Okay, I'm very grateful. We have come to the end of our video or lecture. I had to take us on 5 different areas, and I'm so grateful to God who gave me the strength to be able to do this. And another thing I would like to add, do not sit down for 30 minutes stretch. Make sure you stretch your back. Do some little exercises, stand up, move around, and make sure that you stretch your neck, stretch your bones, okay? Because you need to last longer as a caregiver. Thank you very much for listening to me. I know that if not for the kindness in your heart, you might have hurried out to do other things, but you decided to stay till the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate your every effort, but please, can I beg you once more to subscribe to my YouTube channel? Turn on the notification button. Give me a thumbs up. Pen down your concerns, your questions, and at the same time, share to your friends. If you have challenges as an applicant, I will leave on my description box the community link, the WhatsApp and the Telegram, so you can click on any of them, meet up with other applicants, and you get help. I will be there to attend to you as well. Thank you very much for watching. So it's time to say good night. I'd like to say thank you, and may the Lord grant your every desires, and may you get jobs, loads of job offers, and may your effort never be in vain. Amen. Bye. Thank you.